Okay, we're back. Verse 10, Hosea. Israel is an empty vine. He bringeth forth fruit unto himself. According to the multitude of his fruit he hath increased the altars. According to the goodness of his land they have made goodly images. Their heart is divided. Now shall they be found faulty. He shall break down their altars. He shall spoil their images. God said he's going to wipe their idols out. Everything they built with their hands. See, when you get out of step with God, you think because of his blessings he gave you when you were in step with him, that you can do whatever you want. And he's still going to bless you for it. No. God's going to rebuke and chasten you when you get out of line. And them blessings that he gave you, he's going to take from you. Just the way his laws work. He's not going to reward you for your sin or your besetting sin. And idolatry was an abomination unto him. God won't tolerate any rival gods in your life. And the God could be anything. It don't necessarily have to be stick and stone statue. It could be your child. God can be your woman, your husband, your church even, your religion. Think about that for a second. Money. Oh, definitely money. Mammon. For the love of money is the root of all evil. And that's what happened with these people. And God's bringing them down low because they've got uplifted in their idolatry and pride and lost sight of their Creator. Their heart is divided. Now shall they be found faulty. He shall break down their altars. He shall spoil their images. For now they shall say, we have no king, because we feared not the Lord. What then shall a king do to us? Remember, God was supposed to be a king anyway. They begged for a king. God gave them Saul. Worst mistake of their life. God said, anytime the king sins, I'm going to punish you for the king. Because the kings represent the people. I should have been your representative, but because before God just he was their king and he had judges. Like Samuel. Samson, judges like that. But they said, we want a king like the other nations. So God said, anytime the king sin, I'm going to punish you for it. Or if you sin, I'm going to punish the king. Guys, it is strictly tied together. They have spoken words, swearing falsely, and making a covenant. Thus judgment springeth up as a hemlock. Hemlock is poison. In the furrows of the field. The inhabitants of Samaria shall fear because of the calves of Bethlehem. For the people thereof shall mourn over it, and the priests thereof that rejoiced on it, for the glory thereof, because it has departed from it. It shall be also carried unto Assyria, for a present to the king Jeroboam. Ephraim shall receive shame, and Israel shall be ashamed of his own counsel. The Bible has a lot to say about counsel of fools. As for Samaria, her king is cut off, as the foam upon the water. Now remember, we're dealing with the northern tribe of Israel. There was two houses. The house to the north with the 10 tribes. Remember, the kingdom was split. And just to remind those that's tuning in new, the kingdom was split in Solomon's day. Because Solomon went a whoring after pagan idols, and he followed his many wives. He had 700 wives and 300 concubines. And they led him into idolatry. And he even set up idols in the temple of God and led the children of Israel into idolatry. So God said he's going to, after he passed away, he wouldn't do it because of his servant David's sake. That was David's son, Solomon. He said he's going to split the kingdom in half. 10 tribes are going to the north, then 2 to the south. The southern tribe was called Judah, Jews. And the northern tribe was called Samaria, the Samarian kingdom. And Ephraim was the head of the house of the Samaritan kingdom. And that's how God split the kingdom up. And that's how he looked at them, as 2 houses. Now the northern house, God had Assyria capture around 700 BC. They went into captivity. And Judah later went into captivity 500 and 30-something BC, around that era. Nebuchadnezzar led them into captivity. As for Samaria, her king is cut off as the foam upon the water. The high places of Evan, the sin of Israel, shall be destroyed. The thorn and the thistle shall come up on the altars. And they shall say to the mountains, cover us, and to the hills, fall on us. O Israel, thou hast sinned from the days of Gibeah. There they stood, the battle of Gibeah, against the children of iniquity, did not overtake them. It is my desire that I should chastise them, and the people shall be gathered against them, when they shall bind themselves in their 2 furrows. And Ephraim is an heifer. It's a female sheep. And Ephraim is a heifer that is taught and loveth to tread out the corn. But I shall pass upon her fair neck. I will make Ephraim to ride. Judah shall plow, and Jacob shall break his clods. Sow yourselves in righteousness, reap in mercy. Break up your fallow ground, for it is time to seek the Lord, till he come and rain righteousness upon you. Ye have plowed wickedness, ye have reaped iniquity. God's speaking in an agrarian language that they understand, farming. Ye have plowed wickedness, ye have reaped iniquity. Ye have eaten the fruit of lies. Read that again. Ye have plowed ye have plowed wickedness. Ye have reaped iniquity. That's what you gather. In the New Testament, it's talking about what you sow, you shall reap. Jesus said you'll know them by their fruits. He said a good tree cannot bring forth corrupt fruit, neither can a corrupt tree bring forth good fruit. What you sow spiritually is what you're going to reap in the natural. People will see you. Jesus said you'll know them by their fruits. If you sow perversity, you're going to reap perversity. If you sow whoredom, you're going to reap whoredom. If you sow corruption, if you sow griminess, that's what you're going to reap. If you sow murder, rape, pillaging, that's what you're going to reap. It's God's written law in the universe. Ye have plowed wickedness, ye have reaped iniquity. Ye have eaten the fruit of lies, because thou didst trust in thy way. Very important. What's the essence of sin, class? Raise your hand. How many of you know? I done said it 1,000 times. Isaiah 53:6. All we like sheep have turned astray. We turn every man to our own way. That's the essence of sin. That's sin, period, in a nutshell. I will. I will power. Get my teaching on that. I'm not talking. Actually, I did several videos on sin. Yeah. The I factor, the I power. But that's the age we're living in. Do as thine wilt. That's the essence of sin. That's all. Do as you will. Instead of thine will be done in humble servitude to God. Therefore shall a tumult arise among thy people, and all for their transgressors. They shall be spoiled, as Shalman spoiled Bethuel in the day of battle. For the mother was dashed in pieces upon her children. You don't want to see the day of the Lord. He said the mother was dashed in pieces upon her children. So shall Bethel do unto you because of your great wickedness. In a morning shall the king of Israel utterly be cut off. Chapter 11, verse 1. When Israel was a child, then I loved him and called my son out of Egypt. As they called them, so they went from them. They sacrificed unto Balaam and burned incense to graven images. No sooner than they got out of Egypt, God is saying, they started worshiping the counterfeit, satanic, occultic trinity, Baal, Ashtoreth, and Tammuz, and erected the apex bull, the golden calf, an abomination to God, while Moses was up on top of the mountain getting the 10 Commandments. which one of them was said, thou shalt have no other gods before me, and no other, you should not make no idols with your hands. They was up there down at the foot of the mountain having an orgy around the apex bull. God said, this go way, you go way back to disrespecting me and whoring after these false gods. As they called them, so they went from them. They sacrificed unto Balaam and burned incense to graven images. I taught Ephraim also to go, taking them by their arms, but they knew not that I healed them. I drew them with cords of a man, with bands of love. And I was to them as they take off the yoke of their jaws, and I laid meat unto them. Ye shall not return unto the land of Egypt, but the Assyrian shall be his king, because they refuse to return. And the sword shall abide on his cities, and shall consume his branches, and devour them, because of their own counsels. And my people are bent to backslide. God has a sense of humor. He said, my people are bent to backslide. They have a bent in their nature that always goes backwards. They can never seem to get ahead with God. Read that again. Verse 11, chapter 7, Hosea. And my people are bent to backsliding from me. Though they called them to the Most High, none at all would exalt him. How shall I give thee up, Ephraim? How shall I deliver thee, Israel? How shall I make thee as Ammon? How shall I set thee as Zebulun? Mine heart is turned within me. My repenting are kindled together. I will not execute the fierceness of mine anger. I will not return to destroy Ephraim, for I am God and not man. God had to remind himself, you guys are just flesh. I mean, if I spit in anger, I could wipe you out. I have to be very careful. Even after they set that calf up, and Moses went down there and took his sword and killed 3,000 of them, the idolaters at the foot of the mountain. And before he did, he made them drink. He broke the calf up into 1,000,000 pieces. And molten, and turned the calf into molten hot lava soup. And made them drink that gold dust soup. He smelted the gold and made them drink it. And then he killed 3,000. God got he was a little happy about that, because God was going, if it wasn't for Moses, God was going to wipe them all out right then and there. He ended up doing it subsequently later in a slow method. In 40 years of wandering, he killed 2.25 million people for tempting him. But the point I'm making is, God told Moses, I'm going to send an angel, because God was going with him. He was traveling with him. He said, I'm going to send an angel because I'm so pissed about what you just did, going to horn after this golden calf, that I might think about it, get angry, and you get wiped out. So God has to be careful, because he's God, he's not man. And he gets thinking evil on you. I mean, you could turn into a wet spot. He has to be very careful about his anger. But he does get pissed. We've got plenty of examples of that in the Bible. I mean, he will execute judgment when he say enough already with you. I mean, we learned about that in the flood. We wiped the earth out the first time around, Sodom and Gomorrah. And you can go on and on with this Bible here. It'll be him wiping people out when he got pissed off, including the children of Israel in the wilderness. So you don't want to piss this guy off to the point where he's really thinking seriously about wiping you out. I will not execute the fierceness of mine anger. I will not return to destroy Ephraim, for I am God. I am not man, the Holy One in the midst of thee, and I will not enter into the city. They shall walk after the Lord. He shall roar like a lion when he shall roar. Then the children shall tremble from the west. They shall tremble as a bird out of Egypt, and as a dove out of the land of Assyria. And I will place them in their houses, saith the Lord. Ephraim compasseth me about with lies, and the house of Israel with deceit. But Judah yet ruleth with God, and is faithful with his saints. Ephraim feedeth on the wind, and followeth after the east wind. He daily increaseth lies and desolation. And they do not make a covenant with and they do make a covenant with the Assyrians, and oil is carried into Egypt. The Lord hath also controversy with Judah, and will punish Jacob according to his ways, according to his doings will he recompense him. He took his brother by the heel in his womb, and by his strength he had power with God. Yea, he had power over the angel, and prevailed. That's when Jacob wrestled with the angel overnight. And he prevailed over the angel. Angels are pretty strong. Jacob was determined to get a blessing. And God crippled him. God crippled him, touched his hip. And he had to walk on a staff. His hip became disconnected. Out of socket. And he thenceforth had to walk with a staff, which is a symbol of faith anyway, leaning on the staff, leaning on God's word. One of the picturesque words that's in the Hebrew for faith. You had Hosea and Basa. One of the words to lean on the staff. The other one's to run to a rock for shelter. Another picture of a word for faith is to run under a mother bird's wings like an eagle for protection. Hebrew was a picturesque language. But anyway, he's referring to the nation of Israel's beginning, which was with Jacob himself. After Jacob was crippled, God called him Israel, which means God governed, a governor of God. Man having power with God. He took his brother by the heel in the womb, and by his strength he had power with God. Yea, he had power over the angel and prevailed. He wept and made supplication unto him. He found him in Bethel, which means house of God. And there he spake with us. Bethel's where that wrestling took place. Bethel's a place where the ladder, God let the ladder down from the angels, ascended and descended. And he was in a horrid part of the desert. And he said, surely God's here in this dreadful place. I've taught on that. You're teaching on Jacob's ladder. Even the Lord God of hosts, and the Lord is his memorial. Therefore turn thou to God, keep mercy and judgment, and wait on thy God continually. He is a merchant. The balances of deceit are in his hand. He loveth to oppress. And Ephraim saith, yet I am become rich. I have found me out substance. In all my labor they shall find none iniquity in me that were sin. And that I am the Lord thy God from the land of Egypt, will yet make thee to dwell in tabernacles, in tents, as in the days of the solemn feast. I have also spoken by the prophets, and have multiplied visions, and used similitudes by the ministry of the prophets. In their iniquity in Gilead, surely they are vanity. They sacrifice bullocks in Gilgal. Yea, their altars are as heaps in the furrows of the fields. And Jacob fled unto the country of Syria, and Israel served for a wife. And for a wife he kept sheep. And by a prophet of the Lord brought Israel out of Egypt, and by a prophet he was preserved. Ephraim provoked him to anger most bitterly. Therefore shall he leave his blood upon him, and his reproach shall his Lord return unto him. When Ephraim spake trembling, he exalted himself in Israel. but when he offended in Baal, he died. And now they sin more and more. God said they're sin, they're becoming experts at sin. They just heaping it on. God had warned Cain before he killed his brother Abel. He said, if you do what's pleasing to the Lord, shouldn't you be rewarded? But if not, behold, sin is at the door crouching like a lion, waiting to pounce on you. And once you are led away into I will and getting away from thy will, sin will eventually overtake you like a lion. And you'll be captive to sin. And it goes downhill from there. It's like a snowball going downhill. It just gets greater and greater. Because sin abounds. It's like grace abounds. And now they sin more and more, and have made them molten images of their silver and idols, according to their own understanding. Excuse me. All of it the work of craftsmen. The idols reflect them, a dumb statue. Can't see, can't hear, can't speak. Represent the people perfectly. Anybody that worship idols is dumb as the idol they worship. Something you make with your hands. Something you can control. Your God that you created. Something you created with your hands. They can't do anything for you, just help us. And that's most of the cultures and peoples around the world. Till this day, still have idols in their house they call gods and bow to them. You even got a pagan church that was grafted with Christianity. That's full of idols and pagan traditions. 400 AD, this church, which means universal. And unturned the gospel and the good news of Christ and inverted it into Baal, Ashtoreth, and Tammuz worship. A very prominent church. Matter of fact, Jesus said, call no man father on your earth. Call no man father. There's only one father in heaven. This guy that represents this false church calls himself a father. Father is his actual title. Or he done made himself, quote unquote, a God manifest in the flesh in this earth. False church. Been around for hundreds of years. Idolatry. God hates it. And now they sin even more and more, and have made them molten images of silver and idols, according to their own understanding. All of it the work of craftsmen. They say of them, let the men that sacrifice kiss the calves. Therefore, they shall be as the morning cloud, and as of the early dew that passeth away, as the shaft that is driven with the whirlwind out of the floor, and as the smoke out of a chimney. pretty good graphic analogies that they're just going to blow away pretty much. Yet I am the Lord thy God from the land of Egypt, and thou shalt know no God but me. God said it even in in His law. I'm a jealous God. Some people don't like that, especially one of this what was this hefty ladies that used to have a talk show that's egos bigger than the Hindenburg blimp. I think she can run for office. But anyway, she said she left the church because of this one passage right here. She couldn't agree with a jealous God. Well, she could fry her ass off in eternity from the anger of this jealous God that she'll feel for eternity for even making such a audacious statement. Yet I am the Lord thy God from the land of Egypt, and thou shalt know no other God but me, for there is no Savior beside me. I did know thee in the wilderness, in the land of great drought, according to their pasture. So were they filled. They were filled, and their heart was exalted. Therefore they have forgotten me. Therefore I will be unto them as a lion. Well, God's turning lion. Therefore I will be unto them as a lion, as a leopard, by the way, will I observe them. God's now a predator. I will meet them as a bear. Be bad. That is bereaved of her whelps. A bear that's lost her cubs. A female bear at that. It's how God gonna meet you. I used to, in my earlier years, I used to do a lot of hiking in the mountains, in the forest, and I done ran into everything, and you name it. I ran into everything you can imagine, mountain lions, brown bears, black bears that stood taller than me on all four bulls.